Hi there, and welcome to the post-match reaction live from Ibrox, where Rangers have pretty comprehensively defeated Celtic 3-0, and something I don't think we're all expecting. A bit of a mismatched team. I'm sure we'll get into that. But Craig, what was your overall thoughts on that game today before we get into it?
Yeah, I didn't have much hope as we kind of came into today's game. We saw it as a makeshift team. We all knew that. I think the last week has taken a lot out of us as Rangers fans in terms of what we think we can achieve this season, in terms of where we think we can go. And we knew that the team coming into this game was just getting, I was going to say, weaker and weaker as the days went by, as we saw James Tavernier out. We saw Jack Butland yesterday announced that he was going to be out as well, and it was all all knew it was going to be a makeshift team. We knew Celtic had their strongest possible team available to them, and it was set up to be a really difficult afternoon for us as Rangers fans and for the team. It turned into the complete opposite, and much to my surprise and much to my delight, it turned out to be the complete opposite. That was a tremendous afternoon for Rangers and a tremendous performance from the team. Again, you're asking yourself, where has that been? What have we been doing? Why can't we do that against?
Sorry, just see Brendan Rodgers looking miserable down there. It's brilliant.
Why can't we do that against Motherwell? Why can't we do that against Mirren? That's the questions that I think have been that'll be on the minds of every Rangers fan at this moment in time. But we seem to have found a way to play Celtic, and we seem to find a way that Celtic can't cope with either, which is really encouraging. We just need to sort out the rest.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, where do we start from that game? We'll start with the starting 11, as you said, because I was very, very not worried, but I just thought, oh no, when we saw that. That's a defence or a lineup that just did not inspire me with confidence. Rangers lined up with Kelly in goal, Ridvan, Sterling, Proper, Jefte, Raskin, Dio, Cherny, Bayrami, Hadji, and Egeman. Again, I know it's easy to say with hindsight what you thought of that starting 11, but it probably was. Is it what we could have picked based on the options we had?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the areas of weakness for us coming into this game was the goalkeeper, obviously, which had to change as a result of Jack Butland's injury, and then the defence. When Leon Balogun went out against St Mirren, you're then looking ahead to this game. You saw how poor we were defensively against Motherwell, and I think that's where a lot of the concern and a lot of the worry came from for us as Rangers fans. Was that defence? We maybe partly as well thinking we don't have the physicality, or we don't have enough physicality up front. That's part of my concern. But we went into today's game with three fullbacks and Robin Proper as our back four, and that's as makeshift as it's going to get. I thought they were all really solid. I thought Ridvan filling in on that right hand side he did a tremendous job, and he might have actually had the most shots on target of anyone in our team during that game. He was desperate for a goal, but I thought he was absolutely tremendous. I thought Proper and Sterling dealt really well with the whatever Celtic threw at them. They kept Celtic really quiet. Celtic didn't, apart from I think the shot just before half time that Liam Kelly pushed away. I think that was the only shot I can really remember Celtic having. It was a really dominant display from us, but the defence was where it was a concern. And to keep a clean sheet against Celtic's strongest team, to show that performance, it's been a really good afternoon for Rangers. As I said, just that slight overhanging disappointment of what's happened in the last week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as Rangers fans, we'll take this the whole thing in context, but it is nice to enjoy a win like this.
Yeah, we won't be too negative in this podcast. We'll be definitely milking the 3-0 win over Celtic here at Ibrox.
Absolutely, but listen, the game started off. Rangers, I just felt from the first 10 seconds, you could see our intent, our desire to go out, and it never really relented for 90 minutes. The sort of first action point, and it was all Rangers deserved at this point, I felt, was the Hadji goal in 7 minutes. Nico Raskin, the captain for today, I know there's definitely a conversation to be had around that, because I felt in his role as a captain, he was excellent.
It was tremendous.
It was superb.
He made himself known to everyone in the park that he was the leader, he was the man in charge. He made himself known to the referee almost instantly when he he
loved it.
Yeah, he was speaking to the referee. The referee, I think the referee might have forgotten that Nico Raskin was the captain today, and the referee was threatening to book him, and Nico just pointed at the armband, and he showed that leadership throughout the full game. He was protecting everyone. He was driving us on throughout the play. I thought he was a real leader and the epitome of a leader today, and he was symptomatic of the performance that Rangers gave.
Listen, we're going to get asked the question here. I think we already have been asked the question, but AG here says Nico Raskin, Rangers captain. Is that something that should be happening from now on?
I think it's difficult to take it off someone like James Tavernier middle of the season, but I think as we go forward into next season, you're definitely looking at someone else. Jack Butland was maybe the obvious pick for a lot of people. His performances this season haven't been up to the standard that we expected.
A keeper can't be captain.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there.
I really do think we need a more influential player in terms of positioning in the pitch to be captain, and really ideally that is central midfield. That then puts Nico Raskin bang in the middle for that, and he's done himself absolutely no harm with that at all. Since he came back from injury this time around, he's been tremendous, and we just need him to keep doing that. And if he keeps doing that at the end of the season, I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be Rangers captain next year.
Yeah, no, it's just something we're not used to. Like, he's different from Tav in that he was challenging the referee. You pointed it out. McGregor's first foul, he went over to the referee and went, that's his first. You better remember that. I'm sure we'll come on to another referee incident, but I thought I wasn't planning on talking about Raskin there, but we'll get to the first goal. Really, he won the ball like he did all game. Was a total thorn in the Celtic midfields.
I think what was so good, and it carried over from the.
We'll get to the goal eventually.
I think what was so good, and it carried over from the cup final as well, was just the anticipation of our players in terms of where Celtic were going to play the ball, blocking off passing lanes. I think the way that we've found a way to stop Celtic getting the ball to Callum McGregor is really good, and it can't be underestimated how important that is from our defensive shape, and the way that we press Celtic as well. They look comfortable in the ball at times when they've got loads of time, but see when they're hassled and see when they're harried, they are panicking. They're 6s and 7s.
They're not used to it.
We're winning the ball high up the park, and we're breaking on them, and we're creating chances. And we're not clinical as we should be in the final third. We're not as deadly as we should be in those positions, but we're creating those spaces, we're creating those chances, and we're getting in the right positions, and it really disrupts Celtic, and you can see it from minute one. Today was such a dominant performance, and it was so impressive all round from every player in that Rangers team.
Yeah, it was good. Third time we'll get to this goal. But yeah, Raskin, like he had been doing all game, won the ball in the middle of the pitch, and Hadji, the ball eventually finds its way to Hadji, and he just kind of takes a shot that. Speculative shot, but it was a good.
I don't think it was a speculative shot. I think it was. He had every right to take this shot on. Yeah. It was like 23, 24, 25 yards out, something like that. And it wasn't the hardest shot.
No, it was well placed. It was a good goal.
So well placed that Schmeichel couldn't get to it, and Ibrox just erupted.
Yeah.
I think partly because that expectation was so low as we came into this game, and we know how vital getting the first goal, particularly for us, is in Old Firm games in terms of trying to get a positive result, and to get that we'd made a really positive start, and sometimes we make positive starts and then struggle to take advantage, but we absolutely did that with Yanis Hadji's goal, and the place was absolutely rocking from that moment onward, and we kept the foot on the gas as well, which was really important.
How important was Yanis Hadji to the way Rangers played in that first half? Because I thought he was immense.
Yeah, immense is the word. Immense is what
his attitude.
Everything. His attitude, his hatred of Celtic, which for want of a better word, but not really. But his pure dislike of that team and his desire to beat Celtic is there. And I think you said it as well. He's one of the only players that's left from the Steven Gerrard era, where that mentality was kind of instilled, and we need that from all our players. I think Ridvan's got it. I think Raskin's got it.
Yeah.
And I think more and more of our players as we go on need to have that mentality. But I thought Yanis Hadji today was in that first half was just at the heart of everything good that we did, and he was just, sorry, I'm watching the players sprint at random places across the pitch. He was instrumental in everything positive we did in that first half.
Yeah, no, he really was, and since he's come back from being out in the cold, I think that his attitude is like really rubbed off on a few of the younger players, hopefully, and long may it continue. Just Rangers just continued to dominate that first half. It's one of the most, I think, complete performances that I can remember seeing from Rangers.
We didn't give Celtic a sniff. We just dominated the ball. We didn't give them any time in the midfield. We didn't give them any chance to get into any rhythm. We took away. I think actually what helped us was knowing we had the pace of Jeff Day and the pace of Ridvan out wide. That Maeda didn't really get anything at all. Nicholas Kuhn was pushed inside at every possible attempt. They didn't go beyond Ridvan or Jeff Day at any point, especially in that first half. And I thought it was. I thought that took a lot away from Celtic as well in terms of nullifying that speed and that pace, which has been the threat. And I think where we thought the threat was going to come in terms of the ball over the top.
Yeah, no, we dealt with it really well. Robin Proper, I'm sure we'll come on to in the second half there. But don't know. I was toiling with myself whether or not to actually discuss this, but I will because we've won.
Because we've won.
Yeah. I never like talking about refs, especially when you have one and stuff like that. But McGregor should have had that second yellow card at the end of that first half. Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah, I mean, there was the referee boys the half-time whistle. Raskin was putting himself about a wee bit at that point, and but I think Raskin ran into Callum McGregor initially, but then there was a bit of a set two between the both of them. I think if you're going to if anyone's going to get a yellow card, it's either both or none.
Yeah.
Callum McGregor's already on an early yellow card for trying to block that free kick, sort of earlier on in the game. It should be a second yellow card for Callum McGregor and Celtic down to 10 men. I don't think there can be any argument about that at all. But it's another big decision in a game like this that goes Celtic's way, and at that point it's 1-0. As a team and as Rangers fans that have watched this recently, you're a bit concerned that we've only got 45 minutes in us, and you're not sure what's coming in the second half. But Callum McGregor should have absolutely been sent off, and Celtic got away with another one.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you there. Listen, we'll come on to talk about the next couple of goals, and then we'll talk about some of the individual players, because I feel there's quite a few that need mention today. The next action point, 66 minutes in the second half. Rangers scored from a corner here. I thought this was a really, really good delivery into the box. I think it was Raskin actually had the initial header, and then just Robin Proper in at the back post, and I was quite chuffed for him to get this goal today. I think there has been a few some criticism that's been levelled at him, rightly so, this season. But today, I think his approach is a bit different. It was just no nonsense, and it was a brilliant goal. It's something I'd love to see more. And by the way, thanks very much, Blue Bills Are Blue. We are absolutely freezing here, but warm because of the sizzling football that was on the pitch
sizzling
today.
Football? Yep. I'm not sure I want to hear that one.
It's hot.
We're warm because we were celebrating so many goals. Let's go with that. What was your question?
Proper.
Robin. The same. We sat here for how many games now, and every time we get a corner, we've just said, well, we're not going to do anything with this. What's the point in even getting excited about the fact that we've got a corner?
Yeah.
But it was a great. Raskin was his man, and he looks free as anything. He gets a good header on it, and it's cleared off the line. And you're waiting on someone pouncing. You're waiting on someone just getting there with it. And recently, we've not had anyone there, and it just turned out Robin Proper. I think from where we were sitting, it looked like he did his best to miss it. Actually, I've not seen it back yet, but he it hit the opposite side netting. So it hit the opposite side netting, and absolutely delighted for him. As you say, it's really good. I think the second goal was so important for us as well. That was absolutely vital, and I don't think it can be underestimated at that time of the game, around 65 minutes ish. The fact that we got that second goal was vital.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. And the next sort of action point to discuss here, we'll take it to 81 minutes, and that was, I think I said this to you at the time, it was a goal made in Brazil. It was a fantastic won the ball back, which I feel we said in all sort of the first goal as well. A couple of times we did this, we just won the ball in the middle of the pitch or won it at the back and just countered instantly, which I loved watching us do. But GFT wins it, swings the ball in, and Danilo kind of gets on it and makes it 3-0 Rangers at that point, and it was all we deserved.
Yeah, it just felt like we were hitting Celtic on the counter at will. I think they were opening up more and more and more as we were going as the game went on. 2-0, they knew they had to keep pushing forward, and they still weren't troubling us really. To be honest, they weren't achieving a lot with their attacks. We were still very sturdy in our formation. They weren't getting kind of shots on goal or shots on target as such, but it was leaving space for us, and I think that's where Jeff Day, his pace is so important in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of was going forward as if he wasn't sure what to do. He didn't know whether it just opened up for him. Carter Vickers, I think, kept going back and off because he didn't want to be pushed out wide and leave the guy in the centre open.
Yep.
So Jeff didn't really know what to do, but he put the ball in the box, and there was Danilo to finish off 3-0, and I felt it was exactly what we deserved. I can't fault it for a minute, and actually at that stage you're just wanting more and more as final sort of 10 minutes or so takes place. So it's 3-0 to Rangers. Ibrox was absolutely bouncing. The roof was taken off the place, and it was absolutely cannot complain.
Yeah, totally agree. It was a good result, and something that we'll take. As you said, what was it today that you felt was different? For me, I was going to say I feel we had a left back at right back, a right back at centre half, a second choice goalkeeper, a centre half who's been under massive amounts of pressure in that defence, a guy who's never captained our football team before. That was people who had points to prove, and they went out and they proved them. If that makes sense, like I just feel like it was a team performance rather than individuals at times.
I think it's partly that. I think we have shown as a team this season that we really enjoy being the underdog a little bit. I think that's where in Europe we get a bit more freedom. I think that's where the players are able to show what they can do. I think in the League Cup final and in today's game we showed a real structure and a real plan as to how we were approaching the game, and I think that's really helpful. I think when we come up against teams like St Mirren, teams like Motherwell, particularly away from home, it's almost like we don't have a plan. We're just going to go out there and see how it goes and take the game as it comes. Whereas in today's game, we were really clear structure, clear plan, clear pressing, and I think we were able to see Brendan Rodgers quite clearly from where we were sitting in the gantry, and his reaction to the full first half, he was raging.
I have never seen him that.
He was raging, but clueless at the same time. It was almost like he didn't know
didn't know what to do.
He didn't know how to counter it. He didn't have a sort of plan for it, which is quite surprising considering it was the approach we took in the League Cup final. But yeah, he was not happy. He was taking loads of notes, and nothing really changed from them coming out in the second half.
No, it was a good performance all round. But listen, let's just wrap it up there. Or before we wrap it up, let's get a
question for you before we wrap it up.
Oh no, finally.
We've obviously been through the past week where we've dropped 5 points away from home. We've came to Ibrox and we've beaten Celtic 3-0. I don't think as Rangers fans we can avoid the question of what does this mean for Fleet Command, or what does this mean for the club as we go forward. A lot of people have said, should this change? If you beat Celtic, does this change anything? First win against Celtic in 7 games. Is it? What does this mean? Does it change anything?
Nothing. Nope. Not a thing at all. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying he should 100 million% be sacked. He's here to the summer. And that's it. Doesn't matter what we think. Or listen, people can think he's going. I'll be stunned if he's away before then. Just based on giving him that new deal. You've asked the question, so what do you think? You obviously think a bit different, don't you?
No, I don't think it changes. I'm of a different opinion to you in terms of.
I'm resigned to the fact he's here, and I think that's what's keeping my conscience happy.
I'm resigned to the fact he's here. I thought coming into this week, if we lost to Celtic and lost to Hibs on Sunday, which is another tricky game that we've got coming up, if we drop points in both, I thought the board have got to act. I still think the board have got to act. I think the board should act. Whether they will or not, I'm not entirely convinced. I think he's probably extended his stay of execution with today's game. But I think it's a matter of time for that one. But yes, I didn't really mean to end the podcast on a negative note, but it's an important point, and everyone's talking about it at this point as Rangers fans. So let's go back and talk about man of the match.
Aye, man, there was a few good performances in there.
Diomande got it in the stadium.
Yeah, Diomande got it in the stadium. I thought Ridvan coped with Maeda really, really well, especially in that first half, kept with him pace. I thought my personal man of the match would be Raskin, just because of the amount of industry that I think he looked every inch a captain on that field today. His passing was brilliant. Just even getting people going and things like that. I know Robin Proper's been getting a lot of stick as well, but I think he simplified his game, just kept it no nonsense, just got rid of the ball when there was any sort of a threat, and I don't mind that in a centre half. And Jefty as well as another one who I thought was really good today. Is there anybody that I'm missing off that list, or would you give it to somebody different?
No, I think the three for me were Raskin, Hadji, and Diomande. I thought they were the three real standouts. I think there's so many to talk about. I thought Proper and Sterling, as you said, did really well. Ridvan and Jefty were there. And Ridvan and Jefty were there. They were on the pitch. but they were
top analysis. That
they had really good performances as well. But I thought the Raskin, Diomande, Hadji is between those. I'd give it to Nico Raskin every day of the week for that performance and that attitude today.
Yeah, I totally agree. Some of the comments coming in here, AJWTF is saying Sterling and Raskin for me. Bluebells are blue are saying Hadji and Raskin played their socks off. Eagleman has to offer more and we don't have the ball. Null FC says Ridvan maybe
was on the pitch.
He was on the pitch. And Cubby Cubster here says, Raskin and Hadji. Sterling, superb in defence. Maybe somebody we didn't mention a lot today, but he was everything he had to do. He did.
I think everyone on that park did their job and played well. I've seen people maybe nitpicking a wee bit at some performances, but when you beat Celtic 3-0 at Ibrox, then it's a really good performance all round. I thought you were going one down there on the discussion there, Captain Kirk, with the comment that the league is back on. I wouldn't go that far, Kyle. I don't know where you are.
If you can work your laptop for it.
He's saying the league's back on. I wouldn't go that far. 11 points behind. I think if
just get rid of the comment.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know why you're talking about it. But I was going to end on a nice note. I got to speak to two of my heroes today in the space of about 10 seconds. Neil McCann, who didn't expect that, and the other one was Alan Shearer, who I've had to say said he will be back now at every Old Firm game if Rangers have to win it. So there we go. We'll keep him to that. But take care, everybody. Thanks everybody for joining in. Get liking, subscribing. We'll be back on Sunday, I'm sure, to discuss this and this Rangers team, man. That's all I'll say.
It'll be Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. live on YouTube, and I'll be hosting, hopefully after another Rangers victory, following our trip to Easter Road. But thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Till next time.